Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into turmeric. You know, that super bright golden spice. It's practically everywhere.
It really is, and it's got this huge reputation, right, for being incredibly healthy.
Exactly. But here's the thing. What if some common ways we use it aren't actually that great? Maybe even a little risky.
That's kind of the surprising part we're looking at. Turmeric itself, well, mostly the curcumin in it, does have some really interesting potential benefits.
Right.
But mixing it with certain, everyday things, that can cause some unexpected issues.
And we're not just talking about it maybe working a bit less effectively.
No, not just that. I mean, sometimes it might block the benefits, sure, but other times these combinations could actually interfere with your body or, cause some actual discomfort.
Okay, so this is important stuff. Our mission today is pretty clear then. Find 3 specific ingredients you probably shouldn't mix with turmeric.
And explain why, what's actually happening there.
Definitely. And I got to say, that third ingredient really made me pause. It might just change how you look at a pretty common healthy habit.
Yeah. But before we get to the problem combinations, maybe we should quickly touch on why turmeric is so popular. What's the big deal?
Good idea. So it all comes down to that compound you mentioned, curcumin.
Yeah, curcumin. It's the main active component, gives turmeric that amazing yellow color.
And it's not just about color. The research points to some pretty significant health properties, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Studies suggest curcumin is a powerful anti-inflammatory, and that's huge because chronic inflammation is linked to so many health problems.
Okay, anti-inflammatory. What else?
It's also a strong antioxidant, so it helps fight off those damaging free radicals in your body.
Right.
And then there's research suggesting it might support heart health, brain health, even looking into its potential against cancer.
Wow. Okay. No wonder it's everywhere. Traditional medicine, yeah, but also smoothies, supplements, golden milk.
Curries, of course. It's incredibly versatile. But, and this is really key, just because it's natural doesn't automatically mean it's safe in all situations, especially when you start mixing it with other things.
Right. That mixing part is what we need to understand better. The whole idea of ingredient interactions.
Exactly. It's not something most people think about day to day, perhaps. You add a spice, you take a supplement.
You just assume it's all good working together.
But our bodies are like incredibly complex chemical labs, Everything you put in can react with everything else.
How they're digested, absorbed, all that stuff.
Yeah, how they're used by your cells, how they're eventually gotten rid of. It's all connected.
So when things don't mix well, what kind of problems can pop up, generally speaking?
Well, there are a few main categories, I'd say. Sometimes one thing can actually stop you from absorbing the good stuff from another. Reduced nutrient absorption.
Okay.
Other times you might get interference with medications, making them work less well or maybe even causing more side effects.
That sounds serious.
It can be. Then there's putting extra stress on organs like maybe your liver or kidneys as they try to process the combination.
Right.
And of course, you can get digestive reactions, bloating, discomfort, or even allergic type responses in some people.
Okay, that gives us a good framework. It's
Yeah.
all about that internal chemistry. So let's get specific. What's danger number 1 when it comes to mixing things with turmeric?
The first big one, the real heads up, involves blood thinners. You need to be really, really careful about combining turmeric with anticoagulants.
Blood thinners. Okay, that definitely sounds like something you don't want to mess with. What specific drugs are we talking about?
Common ones include aspirin, warfarin, which people might know as Coumadin,
Right.
and clopidogrel, the brand name is Plavix.
Got it. Prescription meds?
Mostly, yes. But it's also important to remember some natural things have blood-thinning effects, too, like high doses of garlic or ginkgo biloba. Same caution applies.
Okay, so prescription and some supplements.
Yeah.
What's the actual risk? Why is turmeric plus a blood thinner a bad idea?
Well, the main issue is that turmeric itself has some blood-thinning properties.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So when you take it alongside something else that thins the blood, whether it's a drug or a supplement, you can get a multiplied effect.
Like stacking them up so it becomes too strong.
Exactly. You're essentially amplifying the blood-thinning action.
And what could happen then if someone's blood is, too thin?
The biggest risk is excessive bleeding. That could mean bruising really easily, seemingly for no reason,
Right.
or getting nosebleeds more often, or they last longer, bleeding gums when you brush your teeth, cuts taking a really long time to stop bleeding.
That doesn't sound good.
And in more serious cases, there's a risk of internal bleeding, which is obviously very dangerous.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So the bottom line for anyone listening who takes blood thinners,
The advice has to be, talk to your doctor. Seriously, before you start taking turmeric regularly, especially as a supplement in higher doses, you need medical advice.
don't just add it in thinking it's natural and therefore fine.
Absolutely not. Your doctor needs to weigh it up with your specific medication and health status.
Crucial advice. Okay, let's move to number 2. This is the one you said might be a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, the second ingredient to be cautious with is dairy, specifically full-fat milk.
Dairy, milk,
Mm.
but golden milk, turmeric lattes. They're everywhere. And they're usually made with milk, aren't they?
I know, right? It seems totally counterintuitive because it's such a popular, trendy combination.
So what's the problem? How can milk interfere with turmeric?
It comes down to a protein in milk called casein. It's the main protein, actually.
Okay.
Research suggests that casein can actually bind itself to the curcumin molecules from the turmeric.
Bind to it, like grab onto it.
Sort of, yeah. And when that happens in your digestive system, it seems to make it much harder for your body to actually absorb the curcumin.
So even though you're drinking it, you're not actually getting the curcumin into your system effectively.
Pretty much. It reduces the bioavailability, is the technical term.
Huh?
Basically, how much of the good stuff your body can actually access and use.
Huh. So you might be drinking that lovely golden milk, thinking you're getting all these anti-inflammatory benefits.
And you might be getting much less than you think simply because of the milk you used.
That is surprising. Are there any other potential downsides to the turmeric dairy mix?
Well, yeah, for some people, if you're lactose intolerant, obviously the dairy itself can cause bloating, gas, that kind of digestive upset.
Right, standard dairy issues.
But also, if you're someone dealing with inflammation, maybe in your gut, the dairy itself could potentially be inflammatory for you.
Oh, so it could counteract the very reason you're taking the turmeric.
Exactly. You're trying to calm things down with turmeric, but the milk might be stirring things up a bit.
Okay, so for golden milk lovers, what's the workaround? Is there a better way?
Yeah, there's a pretty easy fix, actually. Just swap the dairy milk for a plant-based alternative.
Like almond milk,
Hmm.
coconut milk.
Exactly. Almond, coconut, oat milk. Those don't contain casein, so they're less likely to interfere with the curcumin absorption. Plus, they might be gentler on the stomach for many people anyway.
That's a really useful practical tip. Okay, so we've got blood thinners and surprisingly dairy. What's number 3? The really unexpected one.
Okay, number 3 involves highly acidic ingredients. Things like straight lemon juice, vinegar, maybe large amounts of orange juice.
Acidic juices.
Yeah.
But those are often seen as healthy too. Lemon water, a glass of OJ. What's the clash with turmeric there?
It does seem odd, doesn't it? Because both are often used for health reasons, but turmeric is generally considered alkaline.
Right.
And when you mix something alkaline with something highly acidic, especially in your digestive system, it can potentially mess with the pH balance.
Disrupt the balance. What does that lead to?
For some people, especially those prone to it, it might trigger things like acid reflux or heartburn. That acidic hit could just be irritating.
Okay, makes sense from a digestive comfort point of view.
Mhm.
But does the acidity affect the turmeric's benefits at all?
It potentially could, yes. One of turmeric's key benefits is being anti-inflammatory, right? Especially for the gut lining. But a very acidic environment might actually work against that. It could potentially reduce turmeric's anti-inflammatory capability.
So you take turmeric hoping to soothe your gut.
But you wash it down with something super acidic, and that acid might actually irritate the gut lining itself, kind of canceling out the benefit or even making things feel worse.
Wow. So two healthy things potentially clashing inside you.
It's a possibility, yeah. The internal environment matters.
So what's the advice here? If you like your lemon water and your turmeric,
The easiest thing is just to separate them. Take your turmeric with plain water or maybe that plant-based milk we mentioned. Have your acidic juice at a different time of day.
or maybe dilute the juice.
Yeah, if you really want to combine them, diluting the acidic juice with plenty of water could lessen that pH impact significantly.
Good tip. Okay, these 3 blood thinners, dairy, acidic juices, are really important interactions to know about. Are there any other situations where people should just generally be a bit cautious with turmeric?
Yeah, just a few other quick mentions. High doses of turmeric supplements are usually not recommended during pregnancy, just erring on the side of caution.
Okay.
Also, people with gallbladder problems like gallstones or a bile duct obstruction should be careful. Turmeric can stimulate bile flow, which might worsen things for them.
Right.
And it's worth noting potential interactions with other medications too, like drugs for diabetes or high blood pressure. The effects could be altered.
So again, the message is talk to your doctor if you have underlying conditions or take regular medication.
Definitely. Turmeric is potent, which is great for benefits, but also means you need to use it smartly and be aware.
Okay, so we know what to avoid. Let's flip it around. How can we use turmeric safely and effectively to actually get those benefits we talked about earlier?
Right, let's end on the positives. There are absolutely ways to maximize turmeric's potential. Tip number one, probably the most famous one, pair it with black pepper.
Black pepper, why?
Black pepper contains a compound called piperine, and piperine has been shown to massively increase your body's absorption of curcumin, like potentially up to 2,000% increase.
Wow, 2,000%. That's incredible. Just a little bit of pepper.
Just a pinch seems to do the trick. It makes a huge difference to bioavailability.
Okay, pepper is key. What else?
Remember, curcumin is fat-soluble, so taking your turmeric with some healthy fats helps it get absorbed better too.
Like coconut oil, olive oil, avocado.
Exactly. Adding it to dishes with those kinds of fats, or even mixing a little into a supplement capsule, if you take those, can really help.
Good tip. So pepper and fat for better absorption.
Then, of course, the don'ts we just covered. Actively avoid combining it with blood thinners, full-fat dairy, and those highly acidic juices.
Makes sense. Be mindful of those interactions.
And finally, dosage. Stick to sensible amounts. For supplements generally, something in the range of 500 to 2,000 milligrams of curcumin per day is often cited as safe and effective for most adults.
But again, check with a pro if you have specific needs or concerns.
Always the best advice, yeah, especially for higher doses or long-term use.
Okay, this has been incredibly informative. So the big takeaway seems to be turmeric.
Yeah,
Yes, potentially very beneficial.
absolutely, when used wisely.
But it's not just about adding it indiscriminately. It's about being smart about how and with what you consume it.
Precisely. Avoiding those key problem combinations, blood thinners, dairy, acidic stuff, really lowers the risk of negative effects.
And helps you actually get the good stuff you're looking for.
Exactly, so you can enjoy the potential advantages safely.
Well, thanks for walking us through all that. It's really fascinating how these seemingly simple food interactions work. Definitely gives you food for thought, doesn't it?
It does.
Makes you wonder what other combinations might be affecting things in ways we don't realize. Maybe it's a good moment for you, listening, to just think about your own routines, not just with turmeric, but maybe other supplements or food pairings too. Are they working together as well as you hope? Something to consider.